Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to have you here. It is 12 noon, so we're going to get started. We are broadcasting today from high atop the Leadership Medina County Tower, located here in Sharon Township. You can see it from miles away. Brand new multi-million-dollar structure, and we are going to enjoy the program here, nonprofit Lunch and Learn series. My name is Jeff Holland. I'm on the board of directors this year for Leadership Medina County, and I'm your host today. We are looking at highlighting and focusing on some outstanding nonprofit organizations here today. Thank you. This is our fourth program. So we've got several organizations to highlight that are all working to make life and the world a better place here in Medina County. One of them is Woven with Promise, one of them is the Children's Center, and one is Maggie's Mission Rescue. Today's program is made possible by the following civic-minded organizations who help make these kind of things happen here in Medina County: Westfield, Automation Tool and Die, Westfield Bank, RPM International, Sandridge Crafted Foods, Ravago, University of Akron Medina, and the Huntington National Bank. So thank you very much to those organizations for supporting us, and we couldn't do it without them. We only have an hour today, and we may go a little less, but we're certainly not going to go longer because we want to respect your time. So we want to showcase these incredible nonprofits, and we're going to share the bios for each one of our speakers in the chat box today, so you can get a little bit of information about each one of them, and we don't have to spend airtime doing that today. If you have any questions during the session, we do have the ability to take questions. Please send them to me in a chat or a general chat, and if I see those pop up, then I'll be able to raise the question with the speaker. It's relatively informal, I hope, and I hope that you'll feel free to join in and participate, because that will make it more dynamic. Our first speaker here today is Denise Walsh. She's here with Woven with Promise. And Denise,
yes,
please
sir.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I first want to thank Leadership Medina County for this opportunity to present just a little bit about the ministry that is fairly new in Medina County, Woven with Promise. I appreciate the opportunity. And I'm also anxious to hear about some of the other nonprofits in Medina County that are doing such wonderful work. So I'm just going to share real quickly here. Woven with Promise is a nonprofit Christian clothing ministry that is located in Brunswick, Ohio. And Woven with Promise had very humble beginnings. I grew up in a home where domestic violence was hidden from the world, and I knew all too well what it was like to live in poverty without adequate clothing, as well as the isolation, the years of fractured self-esteem, and just the true hardship that families endure in a domestic violent situation. So several years ago, I felt called by the Lord to reach out to the underserved in Medina County. And I decided to reach out to those who were walking the same path that I had experienced as a young girl, struggling without enough to wear, and all the stigma and the side effects that go alongside that type of a situation. I felt led to show God's love by providing clothing to women and children at risk and those in any kind of a crisis type of a situation. Our mission at Woven with Promise is to seek to honor Christ and offer his hope by serving women and children who are victims of domestic violence, human trafficking, and to offer support to foster families in a non-judgmental environment by providing clean, gently used clothing at no cost to help as a very first step in regaining their dignity and their independence. A little bit of background, and I just want to share for a moment Why clothing assistance is really crucial in our community in Medina County. According to recent stats put out by Cradles to Crayons, 2 in 5 children face clothing insecurity, and lack of clothing accounts for 3 of the top 10 reasons why children miss school. And children who experience clothing insecurity are more likely to miss school and fall behind, have behavioral problems, fall into depression, be bullied, or actually become bullies. They get sick because they lack warm clothing or clean clothing, suffer physically because their clothes or shoes don't fit. And any and all of these can cause students to struggle not only socially, emotionally, but also academically. Ohio ranks 14th overall for the most underprivileged children living in the state. Regarding victims of domestic violence, in 2023, there were 478 reported victims of domestic violence in Medina County. And I get that question asked of me a lot. Well, this doesn't happen in Medina County, but it does. And domestic violence isn't only a physical abuse of a woman or a child or a man, but it also includes emotional abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse. That's all considered domestic violence. Human trafficking, Ohio ranks 4th in the nation for the number of reporting human trafficking cases. Now, I know the numbers have been updated, and Kristen, I'm sure you'll share the updated numbers. The last numbers that I had of reported cases of child abuse and neglect, and my numbers were 2022, I believe, were 595. Up to 50% of domestic violence victims are homeless and become homeless. And when many of these families arrive to us in need, they're without any additional clothing or any kind of daily necessities of any type. Our approach at Woven with Promise is a very holistic approach to clothing assistance. We just don't provide garments. We offer a very supportive environment where individuals can find clothing that suits their needs, along with their preferences, along with toiletries, diapers, anything that we have available for them, that we can help them so they can start that road to recovery. So our services, what do we offer? We have a boutique that's located in Brunswick, Ohio, located at St. Mark Lutheran Church, located on the corner of 303 and North Carpenter. There was a school there at one time, and that school closed up probably over a decade ago. And St. Mark has been very generous to allow us to use space in that old school building so we could set up the boutique. And the boutique is set up as in my opinion, we set it up as a beautiful, lovely area where families can come shop without judgment for items that they need for their families. We also have many outreach events, and my vision is to have more of these. And I like to think outside the box. I don't like to replicate what wonderful agencies are already doing out there. So some of the community events that we have held, we just wrapped up our prom dress giveaway, which was an absolutely beautiful event where we kind of took over the whole church and set it up like a lovely shopping experience where young ladies and their families could shop for prom dresses, shoes, jewelry, purses at no cost. We treated them to a lovely meal. We broke bread with them. We shared with them. And most of the moms and a lot of the volunteers were crying by the end of the day. It was an absolutely beautiful event. This was our second time that we held this event, and between the two events, we have served 106 young ladies and special needs ladies in Medina County. We also, last year for the first time, decided we would do an event in the fall, the cutest little pumpkin Halloween costume giveaway. And I wasn't sure how it would be received. It was an opportunity for families to come and find costumes at no charge for their children. And we had games, and uh, Live Inspired was there to read stories, and we had face painting and Halloween cookies. It was really a lot of fun. And we gave out, I believe, 137 costumes. We had 225 folks who attended that event, and it was well received by the community. We're looking at a shoe giveaway before the school year this year. I know a lot of agencies do the backpacks, but we feel shoes are a real need for young folks going back to school. They're expensive. So we thought we would try to do a tennis shoe giveaway before school starts to families that are in need. We also partner with Job and Family Services. I'm trying to work with the local police departments and the local schools. We have emergent bags, which are called our bags of hope, and they are filled with items that a child would need when removed from their home emergently to be able to supply for them for a couple days until the families can get out and get them what they need. We just had an event where we packed, I believe, 75 or 80 bags. So those are some of the things that we're doing and looking at doing along with the services that we offer at our boutique. And I just wanted to share a couple testimonies from a couple of the young ladies who have visited our boutique. And I'm just going to read them. Before I found the services of Woven with Promise, I didn't know what to do. Everywhere I turned, I couldn't get the help I needed. But that all changed when I heard about Woven with Promise. I was filled with hope, knowing that my children were able to get coats, shoes, and toiletries that they needed. We felt so very loved. Another testimonial, thank you, Woven with Promise, for your generosity of necessities my children and I needed. Your help allows me to concentrate on starting over on my own. And that is what we're all about. Clothing is a basic need. And when moms are struggling to figure out how they're going to take care of their children in an abusive situation, or when they're fleeing a crisis type of a situation, having those basic necessities helps them to be able to get on track and start that path of starting over on their own.
Geez, that is so wonderful, Denise. I mean, whoever knew that this was a need and that there was somebody like you filling it. I have a question coming in asking what kind of donations you need more of. Are you looking for specifically prom dresses and shoes? You're looking for other things? And how would people make those donations? Who would they contact?
Okay, thank you for that question, because that was the next thing I was going to talk about. So we do accept donations of gently used clothing. We like our clothing to be clean. We don't put out any clothing that is stained, dirty, ripped, buttons missing, anything like that. You can donate at the boutique. Our drop-off hours will be listed on our website, or you can contact me directly through the website or at the email wovenwithpromise@gmail.com.
And where's the boutique, Denise?
It's in Brunswick on the corner of 303 and North Carpenter.
Okay. Did you have an address?
1330 North Carpenter Road.
North Carpenter, Brunswick, Ohio.
Right.
Thank you.
Now, as far as prom dresses and items for the prom dress giveaway, we are done collecting for this year. We have limited space to store those items. And so what we have now is about all the room that we can afford for additional prom dresses and prom items, but we will be collecting prom items again, probably starting near the end of the year or early January. We're always looking for toiletries, items for our foster care bags, anything that a woman who is trying to start over in the way of a basic necessity, we would definitely appreciate. We are also looking for volunteers. We have a lot of volunteer opportunities. Some of our events that are coming up soon, we have our first annual golf outing that's coming up in June. June 23rd at Bunker Hill. And of course, we're looking for golfers, sponsors, gift basket donations. We collect Halloween costumes year round. We collect seasonal clothing year round. Prom dress items are event specific. And we'll be looking for tennis shoe donations as we get closer to planning our event for the fall. So in conclusion, Woven with Promise is committed to making a difference in the lives of those in need. And by providing this clothing assistance with dignity and respect, we really strive to empower these women and these children and families to overcome the challenges and build a much brighter future for them. I've always believed that when you change one life, you can change a legacy. And I believe that's really true. So I really thank you for your attention, and I look forward to collaboration with other nonprofits in Medina County so we can serve those that are in need of our services. And with that, I thank you.
So wonderful. Thank you so much, Denise. If there's anybody who has any questions for Denise, I'm happy to take. I want to stay on time, but if you have a quick question, I'm happy to field that now. So thank you so much. Boy, I didn't know until hearing this what that organization was and what it does. And so very, very informative and useful. And it really leads into our next speaker, who is with the Children's Center. And I have for you Kristen Minichello, who, Kristen, would you like to tell us about what you're doing to make the world a better place?
Hi. Yeah, let me get my screen share up here real quick. I wanted to just say, all over. Okay. Share and okay. There we go. Hi. I wanted to start out by saying thank you to Leadership Medina County for including the Children's Center in this series, and to say thank you to all of those who are attending for taking time out of their day to learn more about the organizations in serving Medina County. And then finally, to say thank you to the other organizations who've been presenting and presented today. We are so very fortunate to have all of these amazing organizations serving Medina County and their families. So at the Children's Center, we work with children and families who have experienced abuse, neglect, and exploitation. This can be a difficult topic, so please feel free to take a break if you need one. Our goal is to reduce trauma for children and families and to help them on their pathway to healing. 5 years ago, we moved into this new location on East Smith. We used to be over on 200 Highland Drive, where Hope Recovery is now. And we remodeled the former Montessori school to bring the Children's Center over here. With the help of our community partners, we were able to double the square footage of the building, which provides additional space for our services and crucially separate entrances for the Child Advocacy Center and for the Foster Care Visitation Center, which helps to maintain confidentiality and privacy for children and families. The Children's Center offers 3 program areas: the Child Advocacy Center, the Foster Care Visitation Center, and the Medina County Coalition Against Human Trafficking. In the Child Advocacy Center, we see an average of 100 to 120 Medina County children each year. We primarily see cases of sexual abuse, but can also provide these services for severe physical abuse, neglect, and witness to violence. So you see up here a graphic we call Robin's story, and it kind of shows what would happen in the past during investigations of child sexual abuse, where the child would have to tell what happened to them over and over again to a whole variety of people in different locations, having to go from place to place, and potentially having to tell their story in locations where they felt they might be in trouble, in a hospital or a police station. And that just caused a lot of additional trauma. So today, following the Child Advocacy Model, which is a national model guided by best practices and accredited through the National Children's Alliance, only very basic information is collected beforehand. And then we bring the family and the child to the Children's Center, along with the other professionals needed to address concerns of abuse, all in one location. So this model was developed to limit the number of times a child has to retell what happened to them, and to bring the resources they need in a child-friendly and victim-focused location. When there are concerns about child sexual abuse, those are initially reported to Medina County Job and Family Services through their child abuse hotline or to law enforcement. They review that information, determine if a case will be opened, and then if appropriate, refer it to the Child Advocacy Center. When a child and their non-offending caregiver first come to the center, they come into the family room, which is pictured here. They meet with a family advocate who provides crisis intervention and follow-up resources, along with the mental health professional and our canine advocate colleague, who helps to relieve anxiety and provides comfort to the child and family. We have a specially trained forensic interviewer who goes with the child into a separate interview room. This interview process was developed to be neutral, non-leading, developmentally appropriate, and legally sound. During the interview, the investigating professionals are all watching the interview live on a smartboard on a live feed in our conference room, so they can see and watch the child's retelling what happened to them in real time, and they're able to offer some questions to the interviewer partway through. This group of professionals includes social workers, law enforcement, the prosecutor's office, victim witness division, and medical professionals through the Medina County Department of Health. After the interview, law enforcement or the social worker will share appropriate next steps with the non-offending caregivers, while the family advocate and mental health provider spend time with the child. Each month, these professionals then return to the Children's Center for a case review, where they go over the cases from the previous month, determine next steps, and consider whether the family needs additional resources. People often ask us how we deal with hearing these stories all day long and working on this particular topic. But we believe that there's a lot of hope for the children at the Child Advocacy Center. These children are receiving help. They're children that decided to tell somebody what was happening to them, or somebody noticed what was happening to them. They made a report. They're coming and receiving services. They're able to tell what happened to them and be believed, have those cases investigated, receive the services they need. A safety plan is put in place to keep them from further harm. And so I think there's a lot of hope there for these children as they start their healing process. Our second program area is the Foster Care Visitation Center, which is located on our lower level. We have 4 playrooms where children in foster care have court-ordered, safe, supervised visitation with their biological family during their time of separation. We work hard to make sure these playrooms are clean, they're full of engaging toys and activities, and plenty of snacks. We have about 700 visitations per year at the center, and there are around 140 to 160 children in foster care in Medina County during any given month. We also have this outside play area where families can visit when the weather is nice. We have a playground, picnic tables, benches, and the basketball court. So plenty to do. Our third program area is the Medina County Coalition Against Human Trafficking. The coalition is comprised of professionals and interested community members who provide community training to raise awareness about human trafficking. The coalition also provides training for middle school and high schools on safe relationships and human trafficking awareness. And we're looking to add more prevention education at the elementary schools to help them comply with Aaron's Law. This is a new law passed in Ohio recently, about a year ago, which requires public schools in each state to implement prevention-oriented body safety programs. So speaking of Aaron's Law, we're excited to share with you that Aaron Muirden, the namesake and advocate behind Aaron's Law, will be our speaker at our new fundraising event this fall on November 1st. In 2008, Erin decided to step up her efforts to protect children nationwide and started writing state legislators to ask them to pass laws requiring schools to better educate children, school employees, and parents on how to prevent and stop child sexual abuse. And as of January 2023, Erin's law has been passed in 38 states. And as I said, the most recent state was in Ohio. We have a few other ways that you can support the Children's Center. One of them is by donating items from our wish list. We have an Amazon list that you can access through our website, or you're welcome to buy any of those items through other retail stores. We update the list frequently with items needed at the center, including snacks, office and cleaning supplies, toys, and books. I have pictured here some of the most frequently needed items. We currently need more of the snacks, or sorry, not the snacks, the cleaning supplies and office supplies. But we also are always looking for a variety of individually packaged snacks and microwave meals to provide to the children that are visiting here. We have a wonderful new partnership this year with the Giving Place resale shop. They take donations of used items, resell them, and donate the proceeds to Medina County nonprofits. This year, after only 6 months in operation, they were able to donate $75,000 to 9 area nonprofits. And the Children's Center is honored and very grateful to be one of their recipients. Finally, April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and you can join us in raising awareness about child abuse in a few different ways. One is through sponsoring a pinwheel garden. We have the Pinwheel Garden project. You can display, it's a yard sign, and 12 pinwheels are included with that for display at your home or business. And hopefully you'll see pinwheel gardens sprouting up all across Medina County. You can wear blue on April 10th and share an image on social media mentioning that it's Child Abuse Prevention Month. And you can join us for the Community Pinwheel Walk on Sunday, April 14th. We'll plant 544 pinwheel gardens in the community pinwheel garden 544 pinwheels at the community pinwheel garden at the Medina Library. Each of those pinwheels represents an investigated case of child abuse in Medina County during 2023. We also have some fun family activities beforehand, and we really try to focus this event on the joyful, carefree lives that all children deserve, and that hopefully they can get back to as they heal from abuse. So we hope that you will decide to connect with us and stay up to date on our events and ways to support children and families. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You will get the inside scoop by subscribing to our newsletter, or we would love to have you come in for a tour. We really feel like that is the best way to learn more about our organization and the services we provide. So feel free to give us a call and schedule a time to come in. You can connect with all of these events, our social media, and subscribe to our newsletter through the website using the QR code here. So thank you again for your time today. I really appreciate it, and I'm happy to take any questions. And my coworkers are in the other room and can help answer anything too.
Kristen, how wonderful.
Yeah.
And I think that the point that you made right at the beginning is this is not something to turn away from. These are people who are getting help. This is about hope. This is about rescue. These are children that are getting rescued. So it's a wonderful thing that you're doing. Does anybody have any questions? I don't know that you could have any questions because you explained it all very well, and also what we can do to help. And so from abuse of children, I don't know who's aware of this, but there is a connection between animal neglect and animal abuse, and child abuse and child neglect. And we've talked about rescuing children. And now I'd like to turn to our next speaker, who's going to talk about rescuing animals here in Medina County. And I happen to have her here in the studio. She is sitting next to me, if you want to pull up. This is Marjorie Muirden. And she's going to tell you a little bit about a nonprofit animal rescue organization called Maggie's Mission. Go ahead and tell us about what's your project, Maggie?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank Medina County leadership for hosting this. This is a wonderful way to get to know the wonderful things people are doing in this community. Medina County is just amazing in the people that are so generous and do so much good work. I started Maggie's Mission in 2012. It's a 501c nonprofit run by a board of directors. We are foster home based. We do not have a shelter, although we do have a barn. We're in Sharon Township where we keep the horses. We usually have 20 to 28 horses and donkeys there. And we have a small kennel also there on our farm where we live. Our animals come from a wide variety of bad situations, and we have worked hard in 12 years, and we're very proud to have been voted best of the best for rescues in Medina County in 2003.
23.
23, sorry. This is a typical kind of dog that we will get from a high kill shelter, usually Southern Ohio, Kentucky, Cleveland. Fortunately, Medina County has a pretty well-run shelter. We don't usually pull from there. But these dogs, as you can see, are very stressed. Many of them have come from homes. Many of them are strays. This is a pretty tough time in rescue right now. A lot of animals were adopted and purchased during COVID. And then as people went back to work, for one reason or another, a lot of these animals have been given up. Price of dog food has skyrocketed. So we do our best to help some of these overcrowded shelters. So take a look at Chloe here. And this is Chloe. After she's been in one of our foster homes, she's been spayed, neutered, all her vet care has been updated. We get to know these dogs very well in these foster homes, and we love placing them in their forever homes. We have currently 64 dogs in foster homes, and we take in approximately 200 dogs per year. So as I said, they're from these shelters. We do get a few per year from a domestic violence kind of situation. Just got in 3 dogs from a woman who was addicted to meth, who loved her dogs but had to go into rehab. So it's a variety of places. The first question I ask people when they say, "Can you take my dog?" is we say, "What can we do to help you keep your dog?" We do provide dog food to people who are on a very tight budget, occasionally vet care when we can afford it. So usually it's best to keep the pet in their home. Horses we get from a wide variety of situations. Horse slaughter was outlawed several years ago in the United States, and the result is actually worse because horses are now shipped to Mexico and Canada for slaughter. So we get a lot of horses from kill pens and from auctions. Their first step is to, sorry, my screen here. Their first step is to go through quarantine for 3 weeks. We have a lovely barn we're able to use. This is a good example of a before and after of a horse that's gone through quarantine, come to our rescue barn. He will get some training, and we are very careful to place them in the right home so that both the horse is happy and the people are happy. These are 1,000-pound animals, and they're prey animals. So if they get frightened, they want to run. So we want to train them correctly and place them in the right home. Here's our quarantine barn that we're allowed to use, which is absolutely lovely. You can see how thin these horses are when they come in and they start their journey in the Maggie's Mission Rescue. Here's some of the horses, fat and happy. And these two have both been placed in their homes. Currently we have, I think, 23 horses, and we rescue approximately 50, sometimes more horses per year These are the pictures we absolutely love, the happily ever after pictures. We adopt horses out to many families with children. A lot of therapy barns also come to adopt our horses, which is a win-win situation. Camp Cheerful in particular is one who has taken several horses from us, and they use them in their program with their children. We have a lot of volunteer help to do all this. We have training sessions, and since we're foster home based, we have about 30 foster homes to care for the dogs and more foster homes to care for cats. We try to make it a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it is a lot of fun. We have a lot of outdoor training sessions, and the dogs are invited, of course, too. Party time. Cats we get mostly locally, Medina County, some Summit County. There are so many cats out there that need help. These are two little kittens that had to be bottle fed. Kitten season is coming up, and it is a lot of work. We usually have about 100 cats in foster homes at a time, and they get adopted through Facebook and various social media organizations as well. Cats also can come from high kill shelters, but there's so many strays just in Medina County that keeps us pretty busy as well. So per year, we do about 200 dogs, 200 cats, 50 horses. So in the past 12 years, that adds up to almost 1,000 animals. We started with a budget of about 12,000, and thanks to a lot of wonderful volunteers and fundraisers, our budget is now about 300,000. Over 90% of that goes to vet bills. Vet bills are phenomenally expensive to get good vet care. We are completely volunteer driven. We have no paid employees or administrative staff of any kind, except for a couple young, strong people that do the heavy work in the horse barn. That's pretty darn heavy work. One other thing that we do a lot is to donate dog food and cat food to people to help them keep their pets, but also to help in shelter situations as well, like the shelters in Kentucky. Pets and domestic violence situations, we wish we could help more. We get a lot of calls about that, and we take in ones that we can. I know some of the domestic violence shelters take in some pets, but that is a real need that I would love to work with and network with other groups to help in that situation. And how can people help us? We are always looking for donations, dogs and cat food, horse food, and of course, monetary donations. We would love some help working with fundraising. We have our annual fundraiser first Friday in December every year, and that's our biggest fundraiser, and we make baskets, and it's actually a lot of fun. We have a good committee to do that. Foster homes are always needed. Foster homes for dogs, cats, and occasionally horses. We provide all the equipment you might need, training, food. There's no out-of-pocket expense. And you provide the TLC and the love until we get the animal adopted into a permanent home. We also have foster failures which happens occasionally when the foster home falls in love with the pet they're fostering, and they certainly have first right to adopt it if they want to. And we are always looking for people to serve on our board of directors. So we would welcome anyone who might be interested in that to talk to us about it. And I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody might have. Here are some of our kitties, and here is the horse farm where we keep our horses. We can always use volunteers there and volunteer riders, and it's just a beautiful place to come and visit. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Maggie. And do we have any questions for Maggie, for Maggie's mission? We still have our other speakers here, and if I'm sure any of them would be happy to entertain questions if there are any questions.
I have a question for Maggie. This is Denise.
Yes.
What a wonderful mission.
Thank you.
I have a question about volunteering. What is the youngest age you will take a volunteer? And do you allow people just to come and see the animals, spend time with the animals, most specifically the horses?
Well, we are foster home based, so we respect our foster homes' privacy. In fact, most of our foster homes have children. It is wonderful for foster families to have puppies and kittens with children. It's a win-win with the kids as well as for the animals getting more socialized. There is a small kennel on my horse farm where we usually have about 6 dogs, and we have volunteers that come every day to walk the dogs. We usually have a minimum of 16 years old to do that.
Okay.
The horse barn, we love giving tours to anybody. You're very welcome to come and see the horse barn. We do like people to have some horse experience though to volunteer there, although we are happy to train as well if someone's really committed.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Any other questions? I would like you to all hang on for a minute if you don't mind, because we would like to do a quick poll to see about your satisfaction about the program and any thoughts. Here's the survey that's coming up in front of you now. If you would please take some time to fill this out, we'd be very grateful. We use this information in order to plan future events and to always try to improve, to reach out to Leadership Medina County supporters. So I'll give you an opportunity to do that. In the meantime, I want to thank my guests. I want to thank Denise. I want to thank Kristen. I want to thank Maggie, who is my wife of 35 years, in case you're wondering why we're sitting so close. And we appreciate your time today. Have a great rest of your day.